Welcome back to Ancient Signals, that flickering, liminal space between what we know and what we aren't supposed to. You step outside tonight and you look up at the moon, stark, silent, and massive. You believe it's a cold, dead sphere of rock, Earth's faithful, natural companion. But what if that familiar, silvery orb is the largest, oldest, most elaborate piece of engineered architecture in the history of our planet? What if that celestial body is not a natural satellite at all, but a disguised, hollowed-out sentinel, placed there for a purpose you cannot yet comprehend? You probably won't survive this intellectual journey without questioning everything you thought you knew about your own backyard. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Let's begin by challenging the fundamental assumptions surrounding the moon's existence. Mainstream scientific consensus favors the giant impact hypothesis. A Mars-sized object named Theia slammed into proto-Earth billions of years ago, and the debris eventually coalesced to form the moon. That is the mainstream historical fact taught in every geology class. However, as you dig into the Apollo mission data, the hard numbers that underpin our lunar knowledge, you find the inconsistencies are not small, they are cosmically impossible. This is where the impossible moon physics begins to unravel the illusion. First, consider the density. You would expect the moon's density to be comparable to Earth's mantle, but instead, it averages about 3.3 grams per cubic centimeter, significantly lower than Earth's 5.5 grams per cubic centimeter. In fact, it is much closer to the density of the Earth's surface crust. This discrepancy led researchers in the 1960s to seriously entertain the idea that the moon might be hollow. As the theory went, if the moon formed naturally, its gravitational compression would necessitate a much denser core. Yet, all seismic data, particularly the peculiar results from the intentional jettisoning of the Saturn V rocket stages, suggested otherwise. That event, a quirky or fringe tidbit from the Apollo 12 mission, caused the moon to ring like a bell for over an hour. Behavior entirely inconsistent with a solid, naturally formed celestial body. It behaved like a giant metal gong. Next, look at its orbital mechanics. The moon is almost perfectly spherical, and it orbits Earth at a distance and angle that creates the breathtaking phenomenon of total solar eclipses, where it precisely covers the sun's disk. This perfect alignment is a statistical improbability so extreme it beggars belief. Then there is the age paradox. Samples returned by the Apollo missions revealed that some moon rocks are far older than the Earth itself. In some cases, older than the solar system models predict. This led to the open scholarly debate phrase. Historians still argue whether the moon is truly Earth's child, or its ancient adopted guardian. You realize the moon is not just a rocky object, it is a meticulously crafted orbital clock, too light, too round, and too old to be purely natural. Its perfection implies design. Its hollow nature suggests an internal space waiting to be discovered. That ringing sound, that anomalous vibration that lasted for 60 minutes, is your first ancient signal. You've established that the moon behaves like a constructed, hollow shell. Now you must ask, what is the machine inside the orb? The answer is buried deep within the silent data collected over the decades. After the Apollo missions, subsequent orbital probes registered bizarre thermal and magnetic anomalies. You examine the magnetic field data. The moon possesses no global magnetic field today, yet certain surface rocks are highly magnetized. This is baffling, because to magnetize those rocks requires a powerful magnetic field to have existed in the past, a field that the moon, being so light and supposedly lacking a large iron core, should never have possessed. It suggests a temporary, powerful internal mechanism was active long ago. Then, you turn your attention to the seismic data again, but this time, you look past the ringing. You focus on the deep moonquakes, the tiny, recurring tremors originating miles beneath the surface. You find that these quakes follow an unnervingly regular pattern. They are not random geological shifts, they are cyclical, often occurring when the moon is at apogee, farthest from Earth. This highly scheduled rhythm suggests that these quakes are not failures, but routine maintenance cycles. They are the deliberate, systematic movements of internal parts. You are looking at the operational pulse of something immense. You start mapping these seismic origins alongside the strange magnetic signatures, triangulating them back to the moon's true center. You discover they converge not on a chaotic core, but on a perfectly defined central point deep beneath the surface, a point that sometimes emits highly focused, non-natural radio wave bursts. This convergence zone is the hypothesized location of the internal mechanism. Think of it as a vast, ancient gyroscope, or an inertial damper, responsible for maintaining the moon's impossible, perfect orbit and its structural integrity. You are looking at the machine that ensured the moon remained stable for billions of years, creating that perfect solar eclipse alignment. This structure's ultimate purpose remains the largest piece of the puzzle. Historians still argue whether the moon is truly Earth's child or its ancient adopted guardian. Some fringe tidbit theories suggest the machine inside the orb functions as a cosmic beacon, amplifying signals across unimaginable interstellar distances. Other theories, perhaps more unsettling, suggest the moon is merely a shield, deflecting the cosmic impacts that would otherwise obliterate our fragile planet. Remember that ringing sound from Apollo 12. It was the sound of a hollow sentinel, engineered and placed, waiting in silence. That perfectly round two-light shell is not a random object. It's an ancient signal, placed to regulate our entire world, ensuring conditions remain just right for life to evolve here on Earth. If you want to keep deciphering these ancient signals, the unsettling silence of the cosmos, and the structural integrity of your own physical world, take a moment to absorb the realization that the most familiar object in your night sky might be the most alien. This constructed sphere, placed with impossible precision, challenges your deepest assumptions about nature and history. But in this uncertainty, there is power. The power to look up and recognize the work of ancient, unimaginable intelligence. If you want to keep deciphering these ancient signals, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell.